Okay, so this lecture might get a little bit complicated, but just follow along slowly, and if you have any questions or if something's not working, then please post it in the discussions. But otherwise, let's begin. All right, so over here I'm on Amazon's EC2 webpage where it gives you information about what EC2 is and etc. So we're going to go to developer resources. We're going to go to documentation, and then we're going to go to user guide for Linux instances, and let's see, tutorials. And then we're going to set up our installing Amazon web server Linux. All right, so we're just going to follow along, and then after all this is done and good, then we'll have our server set up to run PHP and MySQL. All right, so first we're going to connect to your instance. All right, so we're going to go to, and just to stress this one more time, make sure you only have one instance running. Otherwise, Amazon's going to start charging you for having more than one instance. Because, let's see, there's free tier. Because the Amazon free tier, it only covers 275 hours per month of the Linux or the RHEL, T2 micro instance usage. So if you have 2 or more instances, then it's going to start charging you depending on how much instances you have. And let's see, 30 days in a month times 24 hours. So yeah, you're only able to run one instance per month without incurring any additional fees. So just make sure you don't have 2 instances running like me, all right? Just make sure you have that one we made in the previous lecture running. And of course, you can check your billing and cost to make sure that you're not incurring any additional fees, all right? Anyways, so first we're going to connect to our instance. So we're gonna click this box over here and click connect. All right. Let's see, standalone SSH. And we're going to do this standalone SSH method. And now we're going to use our terminal. So for Mac users, let's see if I can find it over here. Terminal. It should be under utilities, I believe. So if we go to applications, utilities, then terminal should be there. I think for PC users, it's called the command prompt. And yours might be a different color. Mine is black and green. Yours might be black and white. And this is basically a way for our computer to communicate with Amazon's web services. And all right, let's take a read and see what it says. So we're going to locate our file, my.key.pen. That's this file that we downloaded in the previous lecture. Your key must not be publicly viewable. Users command needed. All right, anyways. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to first connect to Amazon with our terminal, or if you have a PC, command prompt, and then we're going to follow along and update the server and etc. So to begin, let's open up our terminal, and then let's paste this bit of code in first. Command, actually, it's not actually code. So we're going to put that, and then we have to make sure that we have the name right. So in my case, it's my key without any spaces. And then make sure you have the directory right. So in my case, it's on desktop, capital D. All right, and then enter. Okay, that all okay went through. And then after that, we're going to enter this bit of code over here. Command over here. And then what this essentially does is it lets us connect to Amazon with our key that we downloaded. It's like getting in your house, I guess you can think about it that way. And of course, make sure that the name is right. So I'm just gonna change it to desktop, capital DESK, top slash mykey.pen. And it looks good. And of course, yours is going to be a little bit different than mine because your instance is going to be called something else, and you're going to have different numbers over here. Okay, let's see if that works. There we go. It looks like we're connected. Okay, so we're connected, and now let's update the server with this bit of command over here. So I'm going to put sudo yum update. And there we go. Now it's just going to be updating, and then you just give it a moment and then it'll finish. Okay, let's see. Alright, I think that should be good. And this looks kind of intimidating, but don't worry too much about it. Oh, there, complete. Now that's good. Alright. Now we're going to be installing PHP onto the server so that you can run PHP code. Alright. So that's this bit of command over here, and it's going to install all that for you. Enter. This looks like something from the Matrix, but don't worry about it. You're not doing anything that's illegal or anything. You're just installing PHP onto your server so that it can run PHP code. Alright. Let's see what's next. Number 4. And give that a start. Alright, so let's start up the server. Looks good. Let's configure the server with this bit of command over here. Okay, and then let's run this bit of command over here to make sure that we have everything off and on right. Okay, let's see. So 0 is off, 0 is off, 1 is off, 2 is on, 3 on, 4 on, 5 on, 6 off. Looks good. Test your web browser. Test your web server in a web browser. Alright. Let's see. Okay, let's see. So we're gonna test to see if this is going to work in our web browser. Let's see. So that should display this page over here. Doing it correctly. Actually, since it's not showing, I think it might have something to do with our security group that's we're using. So we're gonna take a check over here and see what's going on with that. It's this one over here. Let's see. And this basically determines who can access your server from where. So in our situation, you see that it's only accessible via terminal, so or command prompt. So we gotta give it an edit and then add. Make sure that we can access it through what was it? HTTP. So that's online basically using the internet. So that's this bit over here. Save. And for the source, you might just want to make it your IP address for now, but for me, I just leave it anywhere. And save, save. Okay, that should work now. And of course, make sure you're changing the correct security group. You can see that I have a couple over here, but in the description, you can see when it was created. So just make sure you have the right one. All right, and there we go. Now it works. Okay, so far so good with everything. You can see that we're getting the test page for our server running. Now let's see what's next. Okay. I'm gonna be setting some permissions. So just keep following along. Sudo. Okay. Add your user. Okay, and then we're gonna put our EC2 user. So that would be this bit over here. And of course, make sure you only have one instance running, because if you have two, they're gonna start charging you for the other one. Okay, and then we're gonna copy this bit over here. EC2 user. All right. Enter. Not exist. What was that? Oh, actually, I think it just. Let's see. All right, that worked. I guess we didn't need this bit over here. We just needed this bit. Okay, then let's see what else there is. Log out, log back in, verify your membership. Okay, so we're gonna exit. So exit here. Close. All right. So after we exit, I'm just gonna I close my terminal and then I'm just gonna reopen it so that it doesn't look as messy as before. So what we're going to do is we're gonna reconnect. So reconnect. Okay. And let's make sure that our file is named correctly. So my key located on the desktop. Enter. There we go. And then we're gonna run this bit over here of command. So groups. Okay, and we're getting the response EC2 user wheel www. Then we're gonna run this command to change the ownership of the group and as contents to the www group. that looks good. And then we're gonna. This seems a little bit complicated, but you don't need to worry too much about what all this means. It's just how we're setting up our server so that it runs properly. All right, that's good. And then that's good. For permission. All right. Okay, everything looks good so far. And this bit is optional, secure your web server. But let's see. No. Okay. And we don't need this bit over here. This is for like if you want the SSL. That would be, let's see. Yeah. So a lot of websites out there have SSL, like YouTube, where you get it through HTTPS as opposed to HTTP because HTTPS is more secure and it encrypts data for the website. But we don't need to worry too much about that. We'll look into that in the Amazon Web Services section of this course. But it's just a way to make your website more secure. All right, YouTube has it, Google has it. A lot of popular websites have this HTTPS over here. But we don't need that for now. All right. Oops. Let's see what is this. Oh, SSL. Okay. So I can just, that's optional. So we'll skip that for now. And then let's test our web server right now. So we're just going to create a simple document in our server. And then the document's name is phpinfo.php. And it's just going to give you some information about your server that's running PHP. So it's going to tell you what version PHP you're running and some information about the PHP on the server. All right, that looks good. And then it doesn't look like we're getting a permission denied. So it should be fine. And then in the web browser, we're going to type this bit in. And it should pop up this page over here. So, and then we replace this bit with our public DNS that we have over here. So let's see. There we go. So everything's going nice. Okay, so it just gives you some information about PHP on the server. So the system type, build date, server API, version, PHP version. And we don't need to worry too much about that for now, but this just shows us that basically PHP is able to run on our website server with Amazon. All right. Now let's see what else we gotta do. All right, let's see what else we gotta do. And then of course we want to delete this for security reasons. So let's use this bit of command over here to delete that file we just created. That was just to check to make sure PHP is working. It's good. And then now we're gonna secure a SQL server. So for SQL, we'll be using that in our next lecture where we store user information and images, videos, etc. All right. Let's see, sudo service. Okay, let's see. Sorry, MySQL. All right, so we're getting this exact response over here, so everything looks good. Now we're gonna run install. Oops. And I really hope this isn't too difficult to follow along. We're just kind of copying and pasting the commands over here. It should be working with any computer, as long as you have a command prompt or terminal. All right, and let's see. When prompted to enter a password for the root account, enter the current root password. By default, the root account does not have a password. Enter. All right, so we'll just push enter for none. And then we'll put Y to set a password. Okay, so for the password, to make it simple, I'll just put root, R-O-O-T, and it's not going to appear that you're typing anything for security reasons. Re-enter new password, so R-O-O-T, all lowercase. And then, let's see, remove anonymous user account, Y for yes. And disallow login remotely, just put Y for yes. And I'll do fine. And then Y for yes. All right, so that looks like it went through. All right, and then we don't need to do these optional bits over here. All right, one last thing. We're gonna install phpMyAdmin, which we'll use to access our MySQL that we'll be using in the next lecture, next section of the lecture where we cover MySQL. Okay, so we're almost done with this, so a little bit more. This is a bit of a long lecture, but we really need to set up our web server with Amazon. Okay, put that. Good, and then we're going to install phpMyAdmin, and then it's going to install. There we go. I always think this looks really cool. All right, complete. So, all right, let's see what else we got. Answer Y to put unprompted. Oh, no prompt. That's all right. Server that's running off is not very useful. All right. So just open this link in a new tab. All right. So the last thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be changing the IP address so that we can access phpMyAdmin from our IP address as opposed to their IP address. So we're just going to copy this bit over here, and then we're going to change this red bit with our IP address. So put that in and don't push enter, and then we'll put our IP address from here into this over here. Let's see. And just make sure everything is correct. So sudo sed ie 127.0.0.1, and then our IP address And then just make sure all the slashes are in the right place, and that looks good. Enter. All right, and then we're gonna restart our server so that it picks up on the changes. Okay, so oops, stop that. Enter. Okay, looks good, and then we'll restart it. Restart the MySQL server. And that looks good. Okay, that looks good. And last but not least, the moment of truth. We're gonna enter this into our web browser, and hopefully that works. And then we're gonna replace this bit with our DNS. So this bit over here. Over here. And then we should see this over here. There we go. Oh, that was a long process, but we finally got it. And then let's see if we can log in. So in my situation, I put username as root and password as root. Let's see if we can log in. There we go. Everything's working. We'll be using PHP in the next section of the course where we store user information in MySQL. But for now, we can just leave that and just feel relieved that all is good and that you successfully set up your server. All right. And if you were having issues or something went wrong, then please post it in the discussions and I'll help you out. All right. So if you copied and pasted everything correctly from the Amazon Web Services documentation, then your server should be up and running and ready to process PHP code. And you should also have PHP installed to access MySQL, where we'll use for the next section of this course. And of course, if something didn't go well, just post it in the discussions. And once again, don't have more than one of these running, otherwise Amazon's going to charge you. So in my case, I have 2 running, and I'm gonna get charged for it. But just make sure you have only one of these running. All right, and that is it for this lecture. And in the next lecture, we'll start writing some PHP. Thank you.